I was right. I knew it. Like, it ain't no doubt about that. P. Diddy was doing all that. And like I say, I don't judge because I've been around people doing, but these hard they was doing and just, I ain't gonna lie, it was orgies and stuff going on. So all of this stuff going on, I'm like, why is people doing stuff all in the open? Like, that's just offending me and the.
What if I told you that Hollywood's darkest secrets are finally coming to the surface, with Joe Rogan exposing the truth? And it all points back to Diddy's notorious heating up. Joe Rogan recently shared some jaw-dropping insights that have people questioning what really goes on in the private lives of Hollywood's elite. According to Rogan, these exclusive parties are more than just glamorous nights out. The real story is in what happens behind closed doors, and it's enough to make anyone uneasy. The alleged party rules required just to get in? Let's just say they sound like something out of a bad dream.
Do you think that we're going to get the names from the Diddy parties, or is that going to go away?
I think that one's going to come out.
Are people being paid off right now?
No, I think Diddy is probably a spiteful man, and he probably is going to be in jail for the rest of his life,
Right.
and they're probably going to sing a song.
No, I'm saying how many people are getting paid right now to shut up? Like, how many cases are falling apart? Because I'll tell you this.
I don't know if that's really going on. This is the thing. We don't know who's involved in this whole Diddy thing. Is this an intelligence agency thing where they're trying to compromise people that were famous and get them to endorse certain political candidates? Is it that?
Or he's really close with Obama.
Or is it really just Diddy masterminded the whole thing like a fuck gangster?
Diddy's parties have long held a certain mystique, drawing in celebrities, politicians, and Hollywood power players. But these aren't the kind of gatherings where people casually share snaps on Instagram. Instead, they're shrouded in secrecy, with rumors only adding to the intrigue over the years. Recently, Joe Rogan turned his attention to these infamous gatherings, determined to lift the veil, and even he was taken aback by what he uncovered. The rules enforced at these parties? They're enough to shock anyone. One of the most unsettling claims centers on an alleged no devices policy, a strict rule requiring all attendees to hand over their phones at the door. While it's not unusual for high-profile events to ban devices for privacy, here it created an atmosphere where guests felt almost obligated to play along. With no devices allowed, Diddy's party...
Excuse me, I need the phones, guys. Need the phones. Need the phones. I need the phones. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And Quincy, I know you have two phones, Quincy. Oh, there you go. That's what I love. Yes. Just Glow. So proud of you, Just Glow. Look at that. Got all the phones. Do I have everybody's phone? So we got two cars. This car and the car over there. I would like to... this is going to get in when we finish.
Turning the entire place into a bubble of secrecy. Anything could happen inside, and nobody outside would ever know. This intense privacy set the tone, creating an environment where guests felt completely cut off, and it was clear no leaks or evidence would make it beyond those doors. But perhaps the most unsettling claim involved the presence of children. According to Joe Rogan and other sources, specific rules were allegedly set for kids, including curfews and restricted areas as the party got more intense. While kids at family gatherings are normal, these parties were far from typical Hollywood events. Rogan hinted at the disturbing reality of children being present, but separated as the adult activities became more risque. This, combined with a no devices rule, added a new layer of concern, leaving many to question the environment these children were really in, and if anyone in charge truly had their well-being in mind. Sources suggest that, as the night wore on, children were quietly moved to separate areas, away from the adults, raising even more questions about what was really happening and why they...
Yeah.
Good, you're doing so good.
I just want to say,
This is the most disturbing Diddy clip that I've seen so far, and it really honestly makes you realize that everyone who went to these parties isn't so innocent.
Okay, we gonna have DJ Cassidy ready to do 1 and 2. We fed y'all, we gave y'all some drinks downtown. Enjoy life. This is a celebration of life. This is the legendary white party. It's the real white party. Make some noise if you've been here before. only kids. The kids have like an hour left. So get extra comfortable, kids, because after that, y'all gotta go. It's a wrap for y'all, because this thing turns into something that when y'all get older, y'all gotta like comfortable. Okay? So, you know, let's just start to get our room on a little bit. In an hour, we put the kids away, so good.
Were there in the first place. Strict rules, secrecy, and no phones. These aren't what you'd expect from a typical party, and the image emerging is anything but glamorous. According to Joe Rogan and others, Diddy's events had an atmosphere that was dark and disturbing. And just when you think it couldn't get any more twisted, the guest list comes into focus, featuring some of Hollywood's biggest names. Stars like Leonardo DiCaprio, Mariah Carey, Kim Kardashian, and others were reportedly among the attendees, sparking curiosity about what they may have seen and whether they ever questioned or tried to stop anything. Witnesses claim that these A-list guests weren't just passive observers. They saw things that would unsettle anyone. The shocking part? These celebrities allegedly did nothing, even as things reportedly crossed serious lines. Rogan, who has seen plenty of wild celebrity behavior, voiced his disbelief that these major stars could stand by and let it all unfold. According to him, these Hollywood figures were so immersed in the scene that they chose to look the other way.
Said a possibility that he is the gangster and he ran this whole blackmail operation himself.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Listen,
That
the
I
guy
think
was
for
involved
sure.
in music, right?
Yes.
And you get compromising information on these guys and get them to
100%.
sign very unfavorable
Yes.
contracts.
Yes.
Like, what better way
That's
to get a
what I
guy
think.
to sign an unfavorable contract where you're going to get billions, because he was a billionaire,
Yes.
right? You that guy
Yes.
and film it.
Yes.
And you get video of your boys that
Yes.
guy and filming it.
Or
You
you
let
get
him
a
know
fucking
you
younger
always have
and then
that.
underage girl
Well,
or
you put
something.
these guys on GHB or
Yep.
whatever the they're putting them on. They're out of their
blow their
minds.
assholes
They
out.
don't know what's going on.
Enabling the alleged questionable activities to continue unchecked. Joe Rogan's reaction has only added fuel to the fire. His disbelief that no one in Hollywood ever stepped up and said, "Enough," has stirred up even more controversy. But it's not just the guest list that's raising eyebrows. Even more unsettling are accounts from people who attended these.
So we get there, and that's when stuff got weird. And that's why they lock up our phones, because they know what we see in there, you know, it's he can get in trouble, like right now. So basically, we arrived, security guard patted us down. They put our phone in this little bubble case. So the bubble case is closed. They can't get unlocked until we walk out. So I'm walking around or whatever. So one of his sons, I'm not going to tell you which one, but it was like recruiting like whoever they wanted to go inside the house, because the is inside the house and in the back.
It's not just the guest list that's raising eyebrows. Even more unsettling are accounts from people who attended these parties and have now come forward to reveal what they witnessed. One of the most disturbing revelations comes from a former guest named Tanya, who has shared chilling details about her experiences. According to her, what she saw behind those closed doors wasn't just shocking but downright unsettling, painting a dark picture of events that were far from the usual Hollywood party scene. Her account suggests that the strict rules, lack of devices, and secrecy weren't just for privacy, but may have served to cover up behavior that should never have gone unnoticed. Tanya's testimony uncovers a side of Diddy's exclusive parties that's far from glamorous, diving into a much darker and unsettling reality. According to her, strict rules were in place from the moment guests arrived, going well beyond a simple no devices policy. Guests were reportedly separated into different areas based on their level of access, with some allowed to roam freely, while others were kept out of specific, hidden rooms where the most private activities unfolded. The details Tanya shared about these so-called rooms are especially troubling. These secret areas were accessible only to a select few and were reportedly the setting for bizarre and, at times, disturbing adult activities. The atmosphere, she described.
Judge people, because at the time I was just smoking. But you know when people are out of their mind, and you know when people, you know what you don't want to be a part of. And it's just like, I'm seeing stuff that you see on the movies. This corner, this got going on. This corner, they over here doing this. This corner, they over there having. This corner, I'm just going to say, because I don't know what I can say, because I'm not trying to be incriminating myself, but they were dressed up like little Harajuku Barbies.
Like what?
Little people, okay? We're not going to say what type of little people, but like a fetish. And I'm looking like, what are they doing here? Like dressed up, little red lipstick, like they weren't supposed to be there.
Was far from what most people would expect, leaving some guests feeling uncomfortable and shocked by what they saw. Most disturbing of all were accounts of young people dressed in costumes more suited for adult-themed parties. According to Tanya and other sources, some attendees even noted an unsettling Harajuku doll theme, a style associated with youth and innocence in Japanese culture. The presence of these figures, reportedly dressed to resemble dolls at such a gathering, raised serious concerns, with witnesses questioning the purpose behind these costumes and the overall environment created within these gatherings. The stories surrounding Diddy's parties have taken a disturbing turn, pushing public discomfort to new heights. These accounts suggest a level of recklessness that many never thought possible within such high-profile circles. As troubling as these stories have been, they are now compounded by a growing number that could have serious consequences for Diddy. Recent weeks have seen a surge in lawsuits, with more victims stepping forward to share their experiences. The allegations are extensive, reportedly involving around 120 victims over the years, some of whom were minors. Each new lawsuit that emerges adds more disturbing details, painting a troubling picture of systemic wrongful behavior. Many of these claims are linked to incidents allegedly occurring in the same infamous rooms described by people like Tanya, which only adds weight to their testimonies. For the victims, this moment represents a chance to finally confront the traumatic experiences they endured in silence for so long. With more accusers coming forward, there is now a real possibility that justice may be served for those who have suffered in the shadows for years. Joe Rogan hasn't held back his thoughts on the situation surrounding Diddy, expressing doubt that true justice will be served, especially given the power dynamics at play. With his massive platform, Rogan's perspective has resonated with many, raising concerns about whether Diddy and others in his circle will use their influence to avoid accountability. Rogan sees this case as more than just about one individual, it's about Hollywood itself. He's suggested that the outcome could inspire others in the industry to speak out about similar behaviors. Fans' reactions have been equally intense. Social media has been flooded with posts condemning what's been revealed, with many questioning how such actions went unchecked for so long. People aren't just criticizing Diddy, they're also pointing fingers at other celebrities who may have allowed these things to happen. Some suggest this scandal is only the tip of a much larger conspiracy, and these revelations bring back memories of past Hollywood scandals, raising the question of whether the industry has truly learned from its mistakes or if these patterns are destined to repeat. Rogan's words have added fuel to the fire, and his listeners are now questioning whether other high-profile figures might be implicated. If such disturbing events are coming to light, who else in Hollywood might have been involved or witnessed similar behavior? Hollywood's power structure is under intense scrutiny, with fans demanding more transparency and accountability from celebrities, many of whom have been in the public eye for years. Some fans have voiced their anger, pointing out that other stars like Jennifer Lopez and Beyoncé might have been complicit, saying they can no longer look at these figures the same way. One comment even suggested that we should stop idolizing any person in the industry, highlighting that only Christ is truly without fault. Rogan concluded by stating that Hollywood has a long way to go in holding its own accountable. He warned that if this case ends in injustice, it could seriously erode public trust in the industry. He hopes that Diddy's situation could be a turning point for Hollywood as a whole. As we wrap up this conversation, it's clear that the allegations against Diddy, along with the hidden rooms, strict rules for attendees, and troubling talk of underage guests, are disturbing on many levels. If these testimonies are true, they reveal a world of secrets, lies, and cover-ups far beyond what we've known about celebrity culture. With more victims speaking out and additional lawsuits emerging, it's clear that this story is far from over. What do you think? Do you believe these allegations? How deep do you think Hollywood's cover-ups go? Is this just the tip of the iceberg? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation needs to be heard. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because you won't want to miss the updates on this case and other jaw-dropping Hollywood scandals coming up.